In this podcast episode, David Heinemeier Hansson shared his unconventional and inspiring path into programming, which began with early struggles on machines like the Commodore 64 and Amiga. Despite initial failures and confusion over basic concepts like variables, his fascination with computers and video games never waned. His first meaningful encounter with programming came through PHP in the late 1990s, which provided a low barrier to entry and immediate gratification by allowing him to build and deploy web applications quickly. PHP's simplicity and immediacy were crucial in converting him from a casual tinkerer into a serious programmer. However, it was Ruby that truly captivated Hansson and transformed his identity into that of a programmer. Ruby's elegant syntax, absence of line noise like semicolons and parentheses, and its human-centric design philosophy resonated deeply with him. He admired Ruby's focus on programmer happiness, its readable code, and powerful metaprogramming capabilities that allowed developers to extend the language naturally. Ruby's design contrasted sharply with more rigid languages like Java or even Python, which he found aesthetically displeasing. This love for Ruby laid the foundation for the creation of Ruby on Rails, a framework that aimed to combine the ease of PHP with the power and beauty of Ruby. Hansson elaborated on the core principles that underpin Ruby on Rails, emphasizing programmer happiness as the foremost goal. Rails was designed to be a complete, integrated solution for web development, embracing convention over configuration to reduce unnecessary complexity and decision fatigue. This approach allowed developers to focus on meaningful problems rather than boilerplate setup. Rails also champions the monolithic architecture, opposing premature decomposition into microservices, which often introduces needless complexity and communication overhead. The framework's design encourages providing sharp knives to developers, powerful tools that may carry risks but enable mastery and creativity. Rails embraces ambiguity and multiple ways to express the same idea, catering to diverse human thinking styles. Hansson also highlighted the importance of stability alongside progress, noting that the rapid churn seen in the JavaScript ecosystem during the 2010s was detrimental. Rails aims to balance innovation with a stable, enduring foundation, allowing developers to build long-lasting applications without constant rewrites. The conversation touched on the evolution of JavaScript and the challenges the web development community faced during what Hansson called the dark ages of JavaScript. For much of the 2010s, developers had to rely on complex build pipelines, transpilers, and rapidly changing frameworks to write modern JavaScript, which made the development experience frustrating and unstable. The constant churn of tools and frameworks led to burnout and inefficiency, with developers forced to relearn or rewrite code every few months. Hansson credited improvements in browser technology, especially the rise of Chrome and Firefox, for helping the web platform mature and stabilize. Modern browsers now support advanced JavaScript features natively, reducing the need for complicated tooling. This progress has allowed a return to simpler, more direct development workflows reminiscent of the 1990s, which Hansson and others are trying to recapture with Rails 8 and its no-build philosophy. The goal is to combine modern capabilities with the ease and immediacy that made early web development so accessible. Hansson shared nuanced views on AI's growing role in programming, emphasizing both its potential and its current limitations. He enjoys collaborating with AI tools as a pair programmer that can explain concepts, generate drafts, and accelerate learning. However, he cautioned against over-reliance on AI for code generation, warning that it can lead to superficial understanding and skill degradation if programmers stop typing and thinking deeply themselves. For Hansson, the act of typing code is essential to learning and maintaining competence, much like practicing an instrument. He also discussed the emerging skill of vibe coding, where programmers generate code with AI and iteratively refine it. While this may become a valuable skill, Hansson believes it should complement, not replace, traditional programming craftsmanship. He expressed skepticism about AI fully automating programming anytime soon, but acknowledged that AI will reshape workflows and productivity. Ultimately, he envisions programming as a creative, human-centered activity where AI serves as a powerful assistant rather than a substitute. passionate defender of Ruby's dynamic typing, Hansson explained why he resists calls to add static typing to Ruby. He argued that dynamic typing is fundamental to Ruby's expressiveness, metaprogramming capabilities, and elegant syntax. Static typing, in his view, introduces boilerplate, repetition, and rigidity that detract from the language's beauty and developer happiness. He also noted that static typing complicates metaprogramming, a core feature of Ruby on Rails. Hansson emphasized that his programming style values minimalism and directness, preferring to type every character himself rather than rely on IDE autocompletion. He acknowledged that static typing has benefits in large codebases with many developers, but argued that for most web applications and individual developers, dynamic typing offers superior productivity and joy. He cited Shopify as a prime example of a massive, high-traffic application successfully built on Ruby and Rails without static typing. The discussion turned to the scalability of Ruby and Rails, with Shopify serving as a flagship example. Despite myths that Ruby cannot scale, Shopify handles millions of requests per second and supports a vast ecosystem of e-commerce stores. Hansson explained that scaling involves multiple dimensions, including runtime performance and horizontal scaling. While Ruby may not be the fastest language per core, it scales well horizontally by adding more servers. Shopify's investment in Yjet, a Ruby compiler developed in-house, has improved Ruby's performance, squeezing out valuable efficiency gains. Hansson described Ruby as a luxury language that prioritizes developer productivity over raw speed, which is appropriate for most business applications where human labor costs dominate. He contrasted this with domains like game engines or rendering, where low-level languages are necessary. The key takeaway is that Ruby and Rails offer a dynamic range, from solo developers to billion-dollar platforms like Shopify. Hansson reflected on the virtues of small teams and sustainable work practices, drawing from his experience at 37 Signals, now Basecamp. He argued that small teams foster creativity, reduce communication overhead, and enable rapid iteration without the bureaucracy and complexity of large organizations. He criticized the common startup narrative that success requires all-consuming work and rapid scaling, advocating instead for a balanced approach that values uninterrupted focus and personal well-being. He shared how 37 Signals has deliberately stayed small, avoiding venture capital to maintain control and avoid pressure to grow beyond what they want. This approach has allowed them to build enduring, profitable businesses while preserving quality of life. Hansson also emphasized the importance of family and personal relationships as antidotes to loneliness and burnout, encouraging developers to seek balance rather than sacrifice everything for work. A deeply personal part of the conversation focused on Hansson's experience with parenting and family life. He described how meeting his wife and starting a family transformed his perspective on success and happiness. Fatherhood brought a new dimension of meaning and joy that surpassed professional achievements. He acknowledged that the love for one's own children is difficult to articulate and can only be fully understood through experience. Hansson also discussed the challenges and rewards of balancing work and family, noting that having children imposed a stricter structure on his workday, but did not reduce his overall productivity. He highlighted the importance of having a supportive partner and the value of shared activities with his children, such as playing video games or go-karting. He reflected on societal changes affecting relationships and family formation, expressing hope for renewed appreciation of these foundational human experiences. Hansson recounted the dramatic conflict between Hey, the email service he co-created, and Apple over App Store policies. Hey challenged the dominant email providers by offering a fresh approach, but Apple demanded a 30% cut of all in-app subscriptions, threatening to remove Hey's app from the store. Hansson described the indignity and frustration of being forced to comply with Apple's toll booth, which also severed direct customer relationships. The ensuing public battle drew attention to the broader issues of platform control and monopoly power. Hansson praised Epic Games' legal fight against Apple as a landmark case that forced Apple to loosen its grip on in-app payments. He expressed hope that these developments would enable more fair and open ecosystems for developers. The story illustrated the tension between innovation, control, and fairness in the modern tech landscape. Hansson shared insights into his current programming setup, which reflects his values of simplicity, focus, and craftsmanship. After years of using Apple hardware and TextMate, he transitioned to Linux with a mechanical keyboard and the NeoVim editor. He praised NeoVim combined with distributions like LazyVim for providing a powerful yet lightweight editing experience that keeps him close to the code. He emphasized the importance of customizing one's environment to maximize comfort and productivity, noting that small details like keyboard feel and virtual desktop switching latency can significantly impact the developer experience. Hansson also expressed skepticism about IDEs and auto-completion, preferring to type code manually to maintain engagement and mastery. His setup exemplifies a deliberate, artisanal approach to programming. Throughout the conversation, Hansson maintained a cautiously optimistic outlook on the future of programming, technology, and humanity. He acknowledged the complexity and unpredictability of global challenges like climate change and AI, but emphasized human creativity, cooperation, and resilience. He urged intellectual humility, recognizing that no one can predict the future with certainty. Hansson expressed excitement about ongoing technological advances, including AI and hardware innovation, while cautioning against hype and overconfidence. He celebrated the enduring human spirit and the capacity to build, adapt, and find meaning despite uncertainty. Ultimately, he sees programming and technology as deeply human endeavors that reflect our highest aspirations and creative potential.